Hey, what's ready? Welcome back to News Toast. And of course, we have some big game showcases later this week. In fact, we can add one more to that list, which we'll talk about later today. But I think so far, gaming companies have done a fairly good job at containing leaks, or at least until this week. We are starting to hear about some major titles that could potentially show up this week, and this only adds to the list that we talked about yesterday. If you missed that video, make sure to go check it out, but yeah, we have a lot to get into today. First, though, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you just so much for what you do. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go and get right into things, though, starting off with Tango Gameworks. In a shocking turn of events last year, Microsoft sold Tango Gameworks and the Hi-Fi Rush IP to Krafton. Now, personally, I don't agree with Microsoft's decision to do that. Game of the Year candidates don't necessarily grow on trees, but either which way, I'm happy that Tango at least can live on under a different umbrella and hopefully with that same creative mindset. Well, they just posted their first official update. They just launched their new website, which basically says that they're back, they're now hiring with a lot of open positions, and they also revealed their new logo, which you can see here. Now, they also mentioned that they will post updates on this website in the future, so it's something to maybe keep an eye on going forward, and I'm just really happy to see this. Again, I thought Hi-Fi Rush was an excellent game. It's actually probably one of my favorite games this generation thus far. And just based on everything that we know, a sequel seems all but confirmed. I mean, this is probably one of the most unique ways to get a sequel, but Krafton saw the value in Tango Gameworks as a quality studio and Hi-Fi Rush as a creative IP for them. As they said last year, they didn't buy Tango with the mindset that their next game is going to sell millions upon millions of copies, but rather they view quality games like this as good for their brand. Now, however, do kind of keep in mind that we're probably still years away before getting this more than likely Hi-Fi Rush sequel. Now, we also got a new Unreal Engine 5 tech demo today for The Witcher 4 running on the base PlayStation 5, and that's the first thing that I want to emphasize here. Yes, this looks absolutely gorgeous, but this isn't actual gameplay. It is a tech demo, and it doesn't represent what the final product will actually look like, and the reason I want to highlight that is because a lot of people don't really understand that, and they're now kind of expecting that thanks to this new footage. Just kind of keep your expectations in check, though, because I've been around long enough to understand that these tech demos can be misleading at times. I still remember the Zelda Wii U tech demo years and years ago, and yeah, we never got a Zelda game that looked nearly that good on the Wii U. What made that situation even worse, though, is that there were legitimately people that went out and bought the Wii U because of that tech demo, and we didn't even get a game like that. And that's why I say that these tech demos can be misleading at times. Now, I will say the fact that The Witcher 4 is a real game that's in development, though, that does make this situation slightly different. This demo, at the very least, could give us an early idea about some of the things that CD Projekt Red is trying to do. Now, let's go and move on and talk about PlayStation. Sony just confirmed their next State of Play, and yeah, apparently it's happening tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on June 4th. So very little heads up here, and it kind of seems like Sony wants to get ahead of all of the breaking news that will be hot and heavy all week long. I mean, we have the Switch 2 launch right around the corner. Then there's the Summer Game Fest, and then there's the Xbox Showcase to end the week with. So there's going to be a lot of competition for headlines, and Sony, as they like to do, they want to go first to maybe grab those early headlines, and yeah, I think that's actually a smart thing to do here, especially when it comes to a State of Play event. Something that I would recommend to fans is to kind of temper your expectations. It's important to note that this is not a titled PlayStation showcase. This is a State of Play, and typically, not always, but typically, State of Plays are smaller than their titled showcases. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't have exciting games to reveal. This is a 40-minute event after all, so if anything else, it sounds like they have a lot to talk about, but even still, it is something to keep in mind. That way you won't leave disappointed no matter what happens. If they do have some big first-party games, however, The few that comes to mind are Ghost of Yote, and then there's the leaked Wolverine and Venom games, which still haven't been officially revealed. Maybe we could see one of those here. Now, of course, we have some other really exciting games that could potentially be announced this week as well, whether that be at the Summer Game Fest, State of Play, or at the Xbox Showcase. We have several majorly anticipated games to talk about today. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and jump into this. And we'll first start off with, in my opinion, the most exciting rumor being Resident Evil 9. I absolutely adore this series. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it sounds like we will see the next installment sometime this week, most likely at the Summer Game Fest. This was reported on by MP First, Nate the Hate, and also Dusk Golem. So there's a lot of different insiders pointing to the same thing here, and I mean, that could be a good indication that this is actually true and not just some random rumor. If there's a lot of smoke, well, you know how the saying goes, but according to Dusk Golem, he gave us a few more details. Now, some people trust him, some people don't. I'll let you be the judge of that. But he claims that Leon Kennedy will be the main protagonist and that it will be set in third-person view. Now, personally for me, that's music to my ears. Resident Evil 7 and 8 were set in first person, and I mean, those are still great games, don't get me wrong. But I do prefer third person when it comes to the Resident Evil series. Now, at the same time, do kind of keep in mind that Capcom actually added an option to play in either perspective in Resident Evil 8, so, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll give us the best of both worlds, even if not at launch. Maybe later down the road, that way everybody will eventually be happy. Also, Leon Kennedy is my favorite character in the Resident Evil universe because, well, my two favorite entries are Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4. So really, anytime we see him, I view that as great news. Coincidentally, he's been a part of some of the best entries for the series. So, yeah, I hope this all turns out to be true. But again, we're going to see just how accurate Dusk Golem is, hopefully, later this week with an official Resident Evil 9 reveal. Now, for you Final Fantasy fans out there, sounds like we'll have some fun as well, because Jason Schreier seems to be teasing a Final Fantasy Tactics reveal. He simply posted this. I'm just saying, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the greatest games ever made. Now, the thing about this is that it's a very random comment to make just days before various different showcases. So you can kind of see why a lot of people are taking this as some kind of tease. Love him or hate him, Jason Schreier has been a reliable leaker over the years. And, I mean, if anything else here, we've known about a Final Fantasy Tactics HD re-release for years. This was revealed years ago via the infamous NVIDIA leak, which has proven itself as one of the biggest and most accurate leaks of all time. Now, admittedly, I don't think we were expecting the wait to be quite this long, but here we are, and the HD re-release could finally get its reveal this week, and I want to go ahead and assume that this will be a completely multi-platform game. I know there's going to be questions about that, but Square Enix has really made that their mission these past few years. So if this is indeed a tease, as a lot of people are speculating, then I would expect a PC, Xbox, Switch, and a PlayStation announcement in the coming days. Now, that's not quite all, though, because we also have one more game to talk about, and I swear there's speculation about this game for every single event, pretty much for the past few years, but I think it's finally time. Yes, Hollow Knight Silksong will get its reveal this week. Now, the reason I say that is for really three different reasons. The first of which is that it's recently received various updates on Steam database. So there's been movement behind the scenes, and that very well could indicate that they're preparing for some kind of incoming release date announcement. Now, the other reason, and this is just me speculating, but that's because Silksong is an Xbox Game Pass game. It actually appeared at an Xbox showcase several years ago, so even if it doesn't show up at the Summer Game Fest, there's still a very good chance that Xbox will want to highlight it as a part of their Game Pass lineup at their own showcase. And then lastly, if you remember right, Team Cherry confirmed a 2025 release date a few months back at the Switch 2 reveal showcase. Now, I mean, they only revealed like 3 seconds of footage, but it was there, and unless that plan has since changed, I mean, the clock is ticking. I mean, there's only 6 months left of the year, and there's really not many better opportunities for a big-time reveal. In fact, with the Switch 2 available just later this week, it's kind of the perfect time to release Hollow Knight Silksong. I mean, this is a highly anticipated game, one that is actually very popular on Nintendo's consoles, so that could be one of its lead platforms, especially if they get it out as a part of the Switch 2 launch window. So, yeah. With all of that, I'd say that there's a lot of potentially very exciting reveals planned for later this week, but let me know. Is there any game that you're specifically hoping to see in the coming days? Anyways, though, that's going to be this episode, but until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.